When people ask me to explain, when they say like I can't imagine what it would be like to have something like what happened to me happen to them, sometimes I have to stop and say that, I wish I would have known that day when I saw that car pull up. I wish I would have known, don't answer the door, because the second I answered the door and I took a step out, my life was forever changed. I walked out that door, went to the hospital, and my husband never came home with me that day. I came back home, I walked through that same door, and my family was different. I walked in and the cake, my husband's birthday cake that we had just made the day before, a few days before, I found myself having to shove it down the garbage disposal, crying, thinking about, well, how am I going to do this with the 3 kids by myself? Wayne was everything to us. We still had birthday cards out. We still had Father's Day cards out. And thank goodness Sally Mahoney, my neighbor, took down a big happy birthday banner that the kids had colored and we put up above our kitchen table. I was wondering if that would still be there when I got home, and I was kind of glad that it wasn't, and she took it down, because it would be painful to see that up there. Just as painful as it was to shove that cake down the disposal, crying, wondering, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to get these kids raised? And hoping that this nightmare would I'd wake up from the nightmare.
How beautiful the hands that served the wine and the bread and the sons of the earth. How beautiful the feet that walked the long dusty roads and the hills to the cross. How beautiful.
Well, I think you can't talk about Grace without, talking about her family and thinking and remembering Wayne. I met Wayne when he was a patrolman in the 3rd District. I was working out there, and we met in the district, and then I realized that he was a neighbor of mine, and one of my first memories of him is bringing his kids around the neighborhood on Halloween, and how attentive he was to them. So I know Wayne was his life was his family, and law enforcement was very, very important to him. And the morning that he lost his life, we were working in the 3rd District, and a group of us heard the call on the radio. We responded to the scene, and then we responded to the hospital. And what took place over the next few days was very, very tragic and emotional for the men and women of the Division of Police, our city, and then Grace and her family. And they've been living with this, and they've been surviving it for quite a while. And I do say surviving because what Grace has done, and with her family, her kids are beautiful, well-mannered children. She's been a stable part of the community in West Park here, and a stable part of the law enforcement community. She speaks periodically to different groups, which is she's very, very inspiring. Her story is one of courage, one of love for her husband and her family, and one of perseverance, which is a great, great attribute to have. She has persevered, and she has raised her kids, and she's seeing the fruits of her hard work and her labor and her love and in her children, which is very, very, very important. So she is a part of the fabric of the community, a part of the fabric of the city, and definitely part of the fabric of our law enforcement community.
The night we stayed away, I need you at the beginning of the day.
A few years ago, I had the opportunity, rare opportunity, to speak to Kathleen Kennedy Townsend. We were up at the memorial on Rocky River Drive, and she was stopping by to lay a wreath in honor of the fallen policemen and firemen. I remember standing there, and she walked up to me, and first thing she said to me, she grabbed my hand and asked me how the children were. That was so touching to me that she offered her concern about the children, especially since she suffered the loss of her father at the hands of another person. It made me feel amazing that she was concerned about my children. It really impacted me greatly. That moment will always be etched in my memory. I was amazed at her.
So here's to you and our time together. I'll share with you a parting last, and I'll bid adieu with some smiles and laughter. Our time apart will be short and past.
I was 5 years old, my dad passed away, and since then I've been doing a bunch of different things with other kids that had their mother or father die in the line of duty. And I've gone to a camp in Wisconsin with a bunch of other kids, like I said, that were in the same situation that I am. And I've also gone to an Outward Bound camp that with other kids in the same situation that I am in. And I also have a younger brother and sister that went through the same thing that I did. My sister was 3 when my dad passed away, and my brother, I think, was around 1 or 2. They were both very young. I was young too. And I grew up in West Park neighborhood, and I went to St. Mark's. It's a good Catholic elementary school. It helped me a lot with my faith and everything like that. It helped me get into Ignatius, which was a very big deal. Ignatius helped a lot because my dad was an alumni from Ignatius, and that's why I chose to go to Ignatius, because he went there.
When I was little, my dad died, and then the family of 5 we had became 4. And now I only have 1 parent, and she's the best mom I could ever ask for. She does everything for me, and she's so selfless, and I'm so grateful for her. And this terrible tragedy brought my family closer. Now we all have to lean on each other to get through it. But I love them to death, and I couldn't ask for a better family.
My mom, she's a very generous person. She's willing to give up her time to help anyone. She does a lot of volunteer work, things she doesn't have to. She always puts other people before herself. Even for me, my brother and sister, she's always going to our sporting events, and she never has time for herself because we do so many things, and she wants to cheer us on and just be there for us, support us. And like not just for us too. Like she'll do it for like the whole family, like aunts, uncles, grandparents, cousins. She does it for everybody.